Hi Grazia. Okay, so here's your past life spread, and what we're going to do is look at where we are, what you did for the majority of your time, an important day with the relationships and the feelings involved, another important day, the death, and the lesson learned. And we'll get hints of time throughout, and so basically all I'm going to do is relay to you the images and impressions I'm getting, and your job is going to be to try to make connections where you can from what we go over here in this life to your current life, and I'll try to help however I can with that as well. Alright? So, we're going to start with this card. It's the Nomad card. It means that either you're on the move a lot, or this is a place that is no longer used or is no longer like in existence, or maybe we don't know the name of it. Kind of like a lost place, so to speak. And what it feels like right away is it feels like we're going to like a pre-colonization time, and it feels like it's a place where we're looking at kind of indigenous people. I feel like we're looking at native people, and we're looking at like a form of a community that is technically, I guess, what we would call tribal today, but it's not that it's primitive. It feels like these people are not primitive people, or like they don't think primitively, or there's some spiritual depth to these people. And I feel like we're looking at like a native tribe that we even know about today, kind of thing. So, and what I feel like is coming through is also like possibly South America somewhere. So already how you can be making connections is, one, if you ever feel pulled towards South American culture or history, art, food, that kind of thing. And also, what are we looking at? I feel like this is also a male life, and also if you've ever had a pull towards any Native American or indigenous people, if you've ever felt pulled as far as like learning about them, or you found learning about them interesting, things like that. So that's how you can be making connections as well. So we're looking at that male life, and when we see a gender that we aren't, it can indicate a couple of things. It can mean that you're either very balanced with your masculine and feminine energy, or you may feel unbalanced in a way, like if you're, a tomboy, or if you're a guy, then you have more effeminate qualities or things like that. So there can be a very good balance because we're seeing an experience of both genders, or you could feel unbalanced. And basically, I mean, we can just say that mostly, I want to say everyone has been both genders. So, but it's just, that's what's coming through, is just like a male perspective here in what we're looking at here. So what you do the majority of your time, this card is the Laborer card, and like this card comes up with a few things, like, so it can mean like laborer can mean construction worker, laborer can mean slave, laborer, just someone that is laboring, that does physical work basically. So we're looking at, I feel like, someone who is helping put together a design, and this, I feel like when I put this card down that we're actually looking at a pyramid of some kind. And it's interesting because I feel like what's coming up are like little like glimpses of the pyramids they've been discovering in South America, and I feel like we're linking to one of those. So I feel like there is a significant spiritual like thing about this place and what you're doing. So in your current life, if you've ever been kind of pulled at by those pyramids, Egypt or South America, just when they find a pyramid, if that's intrigued you, that's how you can connect. As well, if you feel like you are a hard worker, like you put in a lot of effort with your work, it doesn't necessarily have to be physical in this lifetime, because it was physical here, so your soul might want to kind of work hard at a different kind of work, so that's how you can connect as well. Or you can be someone who absolutely despises physical work. just someone who would prefer like someone else to take care of fixing things around the house or whatever it is. And that would make sense too, because we're looking at someone, I feel, that works just like all the time every day, and it doesn't feel like it's something you don't like. It feels like it's something very what is it? There's something very like therapeutic about this physical labor because there's a repetition to it. And you might be someone in your current life who actually prefers having a routine. So if you're someone that has a routine and likes structure and you know, like making checklists and setting time like deadlines or whatever, if you like that, it would stem from here. On the flip side, you could also be someone who's more chaotic and more or less organized kind of thing, because we're experiencing someone here who is very like regimented and structured and routine. So your soul might want to come back and experience either that again or something opposite. So keep that in mind as well. And you know, in our day and age, this could actually, what I feel like it may refer to as well, as someone who works out on a consistent basis. So if you're someone that actually likes to go to the gym, like, you know, you have your structured time to go to the gym, or you go running, or you do an activity basically, that consistently, that would fit in as well. So let's go to the first important day, and here we're seeing a trauma. So that's the trauma card, and the relationship involved is friends. There you go. Easy for me to say. And then the feelings involved is the quite capable or incapable card, which means we can either have one or the other or both feelings involved. So I'm trying to see what we're looking at here. I'm trying to see. I feel like we're looking at an accident happening as far as where you are building or what is happening as far. I feel like someone's being crushed. I feel like things are falling. I feel like something was misplaced in such a way that it was off balance and there was a tumbling effect, and I feel like it crushed someone or people. I feel like this was an important day in your life because I feel like there's a bit of like blame taken on by yourself, even though I'm not even quite sure you're not the one that, like, what's the word, like instigated the thing that happened, but I feel like you were actually there. And I also feel like you do have a position by how long you've been doing this and how hard you work and how well you know the system that's being used. I feel like you are someone that would be like management if there was someone in charge of managing everyone, I suppose. But I feel like it's not management because you're still doing a lot of physical labor. So if anything, you have seniority over these people. And when this happens, you feel like it's on your watch, even though no one really blames you, you blame yourself. So in your current life, you might be someone who takes on a lot of guilt and responsibility, and you might be very self-deprecating, or you punish yourself for things more extremely than you need to. And I feel like if that's the case, if you're someone that really puts yourself down for making a mistake or just, you know, not doing something as well as you'd like to, I feel like this is coming up to let you know the best thing to do about that would be to release all of that and let it go and not be hard on yourself. If you find that you're like starting to be hard on yourself again, you need to cut off that thought pattern and replace it with telling yourself qualities and good things about yourself, because by piling on that like self-punishment and guilt or the feeling of being responsible for others when you don't have to be, that's gonna be an obstacle and hinder you in a lot of ways as far as growth, like as far as your own personal growth. It may feel like you're growing by taking on more responsibilities, but if you're taking on responsibility and you're piling all this emotional responsibility on yourself, you're not doing yourself any favors. You're really not learning from that. If you're learning anything from that, it's to not do that anymore, and it's time to let go of that bad habit, because it's a bad habit. So you also might feel like you are responsible for your friends, or you might be someone who is not clingy, but someone who's very, like, keeps tabs on your friends, just kind of as a is everyone okay kind of thing, like a temperature taker. You might be a temperature taker. What, you know how they call them, people who, are you okay? Are you all right? Is everything fine? Like that kind of thing. You might be very sensitive to people's emotional climate as well. So you might actually be what they call an empath. I'm sure you've heard that term before. And if not, Google. So I also want to say this might have kind of come back into your current life as making you someone who's OCD or a perfectionist. You want to, or not even to that extreme, but just that you want whatever you're working on to go according to plan, how you plan it. So there may be a slight control issue that you may have just because you felt so out of control here and not able to do anything or save these people or whatever it was, even though it's really not your fault. So those feelings of capable, incapable are coming in because you feel torn, because you know you do your job well, but at the same time, under your watch, basically, something bad happened. So we're seeing you kind of struggling with these feelings, but you're not, I mean, it's the only thing you know how to do, and so you do, and you work so well there, so it's not like you swear off that place or working. It's just that you're dealing with a lot of emotional stuff, a lot of guilt. Let's see what else is here. Oh, you also might be someone who feels like you are very capable of managing a group of people, but at the same time, you might take the back, you take a back seat to a group. If somebody else seems to know what they're doing even more, you'd be like, okay, I know I can lead the group, but I'm just gonna like let this person do it. And if you don't know why, if that's how you work and you don't know why, it would be again because there's something about this person being in charge and this bad thing happening under his watch where he might feel like he doesn't deserve to be in charge anymore, that kind of thing. So if you have feelings of being unworthy or undeserving of achieving certain things or being recognized for things that you have accomplished or that things that you do or whatever it is, it would stem from here as well. And it's also, if that's the case, this would be a message for you to really allow people to recognize you, allow yourself and others to recognize your good qualities and the things that you contribute to the world in general. Okay? So the next important day, we're seeing a marriage card. And we see the spouse is the relationship involved, which would make sense. And then feelings of kind of, there's a bit of like sadness or a bit of loneliness or there's this like slight tinge of kind of unsatisfied like feeling. And what's happening is I feel like you found this partner who is really good about making life easy and not bothering you. Like, this is a very good relationship for you. You find this person who's basically like, they're kind of quiet and they point out your good qualities, they make you feel good about yourself. Like, it's a really good thing that you need. And it's like, you need that in your life, but at the same time, it's the feeling of, even with this person, there seems to be still something off or missing. And it's interesting because it feels like when this happened, there was a piece that you like switched off out of guilt. And it's kind of like a really sad thing. And it's almost like you switched off like it was a button that allowed you to like take pride and joy in your daily work, basically. It was like that. And you switched the button off because you felt so bad, felt so guilty that you no longer felt worthy of taking pride and joy. It's almost like you were hurting yourself, punishing yourself over time, even subconsciously. And I just feel like that's coming up again just to let you know that if you do that, it's really something that needs to be stopped. It's a habit that's easily formed, especially for women or just being human. It's easy to form a habit of really being hard on yourself and punishing yourself basically mentally or emotionally. And I feel like it's coming up again here just to let you know that you don't need that. And also, I feel like this is coming up to to tell you to rely on people that are close to you, that you love and that you trust. Rely on them to be able to lift you up. Like, let people in and let people make you feel good about yourself. If you're someone that, if someone's complimenting you and it makes you feel uncomfortable, or you say, whatever, don't, no, I'm not pretty, no, I'm not smart, no, I'm not, this or that. Stop doing that. That's a bad habit too. And I feel like we're being shown this guy who found a partner who made him at least feel good about himself all the other time. Like, the rest of the day, at least he can come home or whatever it is, and she would always make him feel good about himself again. So I feel like that's coming up again, to allow others to come in, allow them in your space to lift you up and make you feel good. And these are the people that you'll feel are right to be with. These are people that make you feel good. And trust them, basically. Like, allow others in and trust them to point out the good qualities that you have, and then go along with it. Don't deny that. So we're looking here now at the Death, and this is the Murder card. So I'm trying to see what we're looking at here. You know what, it's really interesting, because the Murder card, sometimes it's not what we think of as murder, where people intend to kill someone. In this case, the murder, I feel like you kind of do it to yourself. I feel it's kind of like a self-murder, and I feel like it's years and years of mentally hurting yourself. So I feel like we're seeing someone basically mentally do themselves in a way, and I'm trying to see how that's done. But it's just the feeling of you kind of, it's almost like you just will yourself, it's like you feel so insignificant and badly about what happened here, that it's almost like you, over time, you kind of will your life force away. And I don't know anymore how else to put that. And it's kind of odd, because your wife or your partner sees it happening and they don't know, they can't help, because it's something you have to help yourself with. So I feel like, if anything, this is coming up to show you that you really do have a lot of power. Your thoughts have so much power. And your thoughts, you can will yourself to live or will yourself to die, and it's your choice. It's in your hands. The kind of life that you have, it's in your hands. And I feel like if there's any kind of instability in your mental, like in your mentality and how you think or whatever it is, if you're ever given choices to choose being in a good moment or a bad moment, you need to start consciously making the choice to live in a good moment and to think well of yourself, versus being bad to yourself or thinking badly of yourself. I feel like this is coming up just to tell you, if ever you have a choice, and you always have a choice, every moment you can make a choice to think well of yourself and to love yourself and to think highly of yourself and focus on your qualities rather than anything negative. So I feel like that's why that's coming up. Now the lesson card here is Dream Big, and it's really great that this is coming up, because it's showing you a life where one mistake really altered the whole life course of this person. It altered the whole perspective. It minimized so much joy in this person's life. So they really made their life very small. This person made a choice to make their life small, kind of as punishment for something that wasn't even really his responsibility. It's a very sad thing. And I feel like we're seeing the Dream Big card, because now you're back. You have another opportunity, especially in this place, in this time, in this period of time. We have a lot of opportunities and freedoms. And I feel like this card is coming up to tell you to get out of your own way and go after what you want to go after. And there's no way you're going to get to where you want to be unless you have confidence in yourself, and unless you show yourself that you're worthy and that you love yourself and you have what it takes, because you do. You have everything it takes. You just have to trust that and trust yourself and tell yourself that and make the choice to go after what you want and to see the good in everything that you are and in everything you want to do. So it's coming up as a message to make the choice to move past any negative thoughts and think well of yourself and go after what you want to do. And don't make your life small. It's not meant to be small anymore. It's small here. Now it's time to have a big, full life. So there's your past life reading. I hope you enjoyed it and were able to make connections, and thanks for letting me read you.